Have you ever wondered why some men command respect the moment they walk into a room while others fade into the background? It's not wealth, charm, or even good looks that make the difference. It's an unshakable sense of self. A high-value man is one who has mastered himself, broken free of destructive emotions, and conquered the illusions of ego. Not just his own, but others as well. In a world drowning in noise, ego wars, and superficial pursuits, becoming a man of true value is the ultimate rebellion. Today we're diving into the 7 Stoic-inspired rules to break her ego and elevate yourself to a high-value man. Brace yourself. This isn't about manipulation. It's about reclaiming your power, forging your character, and embodying strength that speaks without words. Number 1. Master the art of detachment. In the words of Epictetus, it is not events that disturb us, but our judgments about them. To break someone's ego, particularly hers, you must first break free from the chains of your emotional reactions. Ego thrives on attachment to validation, outcomes, and the false sense of control. A high-value man is different. He understands that true power lies in detachment. When you interact with her, don't seek her approval. Don't fear her rejection. This doesn't mean you lack care or interest. It means you refuse to let external opinions dictate your sense of worth. Imagine standing in a storm, untouched by the rain. That's the essence of detachment. You don't argue unnecessarily, nor do you rush to prove yourself. You remain calm, unbothered, and in control. Detachment doesn't make you cold. It makes you formidable. When she sees that her words or actions can't sway you, she begins to question her own perceptions. Her ego, accustomed to control, meets an immovable force. In that moment, you establish your dominance, not through aggression, but through self-mastery. To practice detachment, remember Marcus Aurelius's wisdom. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Each time you catch yourself reacting emotionally, pause. Ask yourself, is this worth my energy? More often than not, the answer will be no. By detaching from the trivial and focusing on what truly matters, your growth and integrity, you shift the balance of power without saying a word. Number 2. Embrace silence as a weapon. In a world where people rush to fill every silence with words, a high-value man knows the immense power of restraint. Silence is not merely the absence of speech, it is a force that unsettles the ego. When used strategically, it can communicate confidence, wisdom, and dominance far better than 1,000 words ever could. Seneca once wrote, "As often as possible, remain silent or speak only what is necessary." Silence conveys that you are not desperate for validation, nor are you swayed by emotional outbursts. It sends an unspoken message. I am in control of myself, and I owe no explanations to anyone. Imagine this scenario. She tries to provoke you with cutting remarks or unnecessary drama, expecting a reaction. Instead of engaging, you pause, take a deep breath, and say nothing. This restraint doesn't come from weakness, but from strength. It forces her to confront the emptiness of her own words, while you remain unshaken. Silence also creates intrigue. People, including her, will wonder what's going through your mind. The ego despises uncertainty, and silence feeds that discomfort. However, your silence should never come across as dismissive or passive-aggressive. Instead, let it be a calm, confident pause that reflects your inner stability. By mastering silence, you prove that you are not easily provoked or manipulated. As the Stoics teach, your reactions belong to you alone. Let others flail in the noise of their egos while you stand firm, quiet, and resolute. Number 3. Prioritize principles over pleasing. If you are pained by external things, it is not they that disturb you, but your own judgment of them. And it is in your power to wipe out that judgment now. Marcus Aurelius. To become a high-value man, you must anchor yourself in principles, not in the fleeting need to please others. The ego, whether it belongs to her or anyone else, craves validation and submission. But a man rooted in Stoic philosophy understands this. Living according to virtue and reason is far more powerful than bowing to the whims of others. When you prioritize principles over pleasing, you send a clear signal that you cannot be swayed by charm, manipulation, or approval. If she expects you to compromise your values to earn her favor, stand firm. Show her that your integrity is not for sale. This refusal to bend may initially challenge her ego, but it also commands respect. For example, Let's say she pressures you to abandon a commitment or act against your values. Instead of conceding, calmly but firmly explain your stance. By doing so, you demonstrate an unshakable strength of character that transcends her expectations. This quiet defiance disrupts her ego's sense of control, forcing her to see you as someone who operates on a higher plane. Remember, living by principles isn't about being rigid or inflexible. It's about being true to yourself. When you make decisions based on virtue, rather than fleeting desires, you elevate yourself beyond petty games. As Epictetus taught, no man is free who is not master of himself. This freedom is what distinguishes a high-value man from the rest. By refusing to compromise your values, you become a man of depth and conviction, qualities that naturally command admiration and respect. Number 4. Maintain emotional composure. How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it? Marcus Aurelius. Ego thrives on conflict and chaos. When emotions spiral out of control, the ego gains strength, drawing energy from every reaction, outburst, or argument. But a high-value man remains steady, a calm presence in the storm. Emotional composure is not just a sign of maturity, it's a weapon against the ego, both hers and yours. Imagine this. She tests your limits with criticism or emotional games, expecting you to lose control. Most men would react impulsively, raising their voices or over-explaining themselves. But not you. A Stoic man knows that his emotions are his responsibility. Instead of reacting, you pause, assess, and respond with calmness and clarity. This composure disarms her ego. When she realizes that her actions cannot shake you, it forces her to confront the futility of her efforts. Your unwavering calmness reflects an inner strength that cannot be faked. This is not about suppressing your feelings, it's about mastering them. Seneca reminds us, the greatest remedy for anger is delay. By creating space between stimulus and response, you gain control over your actions. Each time you choose to remain composed, you reinforce the message that you are governed by reason, not emotion. Emotional composure doesn't just protect you, it elevates you. It shows her that you are a man of discipline and control, someone who values peace over pointless battles. Over time, she will respect you not for dominating her, but for demonstrating a level of self-mastery that inspires admiration. When you master your emotions, you break free from the grip of your ego and refuse to fuel hers. This is the essence of power, a quiet, controlled force that speaks louder than any argument ever could. Number 5. Value time over attention. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Seneca. The ego feeds on attention. It craves to be seen, acknowledged, and validated. But a high-value man doesn't squander his most precious resource, time, on futile pursuits of approval. Instead, he values his time so highly that it naturally shifts the dynamics in his favor. When dealing with her, never let your actions be driven by a desire to gain her attention. Chasing attention makes you appear needy, which only inflates her ego. Instead, focus on building your life, your goals, your growth, and your mission. When you make your time scarce, you create a sense of value around yourself. People are drawn to what is rare, not what is always available. For instance, imagine she sends a provocative text designed to elicit a quick response. Instead of reacting instantly, you prioritize your tasks and respond when it's convenient for you. This doesn't mean you're playing games. It means you're demonstrating that your time is too valuable to be dictated by anyone else's whims. The Stoics often remind us of the fleeting nature of time. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." With this perspective, you realize that every moment wasted on unproductive drama is a moment stolen from your potential greatness. By valuing your time over attention, you silently communicate that you are a man of purpose. Her ego may resist this at first, but eventually, it will recognize and respect the discipline and focus you embody. This shift in dynamic is not about superiority, it's about reclaiming your life for what truly matters. Number 6. Lead through action, not words. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Marcus Aurelius. Ego is sustained by empty promises and grand declarations. People, including her, have heard countless words from men trying to prove their worth. But a high-value man lets his actions speak louder than anything he could say. Stoic philosophy teaches us that character is revealed in what we do, not in what we claim. When you lead through action, you break her ego's dependence on words for validation. For instance, instead of telling her you're ambitious, show her through the discipline and effort you put into your goals. Instead of promising loyalty or respect, demonstrate it in your everyday behavior. This silent commitment to excellence will leave an impression far deeper than any speech ever could. Actions are harder to dispute than words. They leave no room for doubt or misinterpretation. When she witnesses the consistency of your character, her ego begins to see you not as someone to control, but as someone to admire. This shift is subtle but powerful. Epictetus reminds us, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Let this guide you. Your actions should align with your values and reflect your internal strength. By doing so, you not only cultivate respect, but also inspire others to strive for more themselves. When your actions align with your principles, you embody authenticity. Her ego, which may thrive on superficialities, will recognize the depth of your character. Over time, it won't matter what she expects of you. You'll have already set the standard by how you live. Number 7. Accept and embrace rejection. He who fears death will never do anything worth a man who is alive. Seneca. Rejection, whether in relationships or life, is the ultimate test of the ego. Most men crumble under its weight, seeing it as a personal failure or an attack on their worth. But a high-value man, guided by Stoic principles, understands that rejection is not a reflection of his value, but an opportunity to grow stronger. When she rejects your ideas, your attention, or even your presence, embrace it with grace. Do not argue, do not beg, and certainly do not allow it to affect your self-esteem. Instead, see rejection as a mirror that reflects not who you are, but where your energies are better spent. The Stoics taught us to focus only on what is within our control. As Epictetus said, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. Rejection is beyond your control, but your response to it is entirely yours to command. By handling rejection with calm acceptance, you rob her ego of the satisfaction it seeks. For instance, if she dismisses you, respond with a simple nod or a calm, "I understand," and move forward without resentment. This demonstrates a rare kind of confidence, one that doesn't cling or chase. It also communicates that your worth is self-defined, not dependent on anyone else's validation. By embracing rejection, you set yourself free. You no longer fear loss or failure because you've anchored your value in something unshakable, your inner self. Her ego, which thrives on the power to hurt, will falter in the face of such resilience. Ultimately, this makes you untouchable, a man of unyielding fortitude. Becoming a high-value man is not about dominating others or feeding into power games. It's about mastering yourself. These 7 rules, rooted in the wisdom of Stoicism, are a roadmap to breaking free from ego-driven interactions and embracing a life of purpose, control, and resilience. When you detach from emotional reactions, wield silence with confidence, and stand firm in your principles, you embody a strength that transcends fleeting desires. By maintaining composure, valuing your time, and letting your actions speak for themselves, you set yourself apart as a man of depth and substance. Finally, by accepting rejection with grace, you free yourself from fear, proving that your worth lies within and not in external approval. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Focus on cultivating inner strength, and you will find that respect and admiration follow naturally. What are your views on this? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I will personally read all of your comments. And if you seriously want to level up in life, don't forget to show some love by hitting the like and subscribe button. Stay strong. Until next time.